Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into a difficult and often uncomfortable topic, healthcare costs, and what to do when they become overwhelming. By the way, my name's Krista, a certified financial coach and expert in the field of personal finance. So in recent news, a tragic incident occurred involving Luigi Mangione, who shot and killed Brian Thompson, the United Healthcare CEO. Mangione claimed that his frustrations were a result of his and his mother's struggles with healthcare coverage. Their insurance contract changed, leading to delayed claims and denied coverage at a time when they needed it the most. This heartbreaking situation raises some serious questions about the healthcare system and how people can handle the financial burden of medical expenses. So, today we're going to discuss one difficult but necessary option: selling your home or taking out equity to cover healthcare costs. While it's a tough decision, in some cases, it might be one of the only ways to ensure that you get the care that you need. But before we get into that, let's also talk about ways to prepare for healthcare costs so that you can actually avoid such extreme measures in the first place. Let's explore how you can plan ahead to make sure you're financially ready for the inevitable healthcare expenses that come with life. So let's first set the stage with the reality many people face when it comes to healthcare. For people like Luigi Mangione and his mother, the combination of expensive medical bills, denied claims, and an uncooperative insurance company created a financial nightmare. They were forced to wait for coverage, and ultimately, some of their claims were denied altogether, leaving them in a dire situation. But this isn't an isolated incident. Many people across the country are facing similar challenges. Insurance companies can change their contracts without warning, leaving families scrambling to pay for care. The reality is that health insurance often isn't enough to cover the high cost of healthcare, especially in cases of chronic illness or unexpected emergencies. When you're faced with hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical bills and you don't have the savings or access to credit, the options can feel limited. This is where selling your home or taking out equity could provide a lifeline. Yes, it is a tough decision, but let's take a closer look at why it could make sense in some situations. So, for many people, their home is their most valuable asset. If you own a home with significant equity, selling it or borrowing against it could provide the necessary funds to pay off medical bills and ensure you get the care that you need. Here's why it might make sense: immediate access to funds. Selling your home or using a home equity loan provides a quick way to access cash. In many cases, the proceeds from selling a home can be enough to cover large medical bills, especially if you need urgent or specialized care. If your home has significant value, this could give you the breathing room you need to focus on your health rather than stressing over finances. If I was going through the pain of an illness and I was sitting on $1.9 million in my home, best believe the home would go. Lower interest rates. If selling isn't an option, or if you want to stay in your home, taking out a home equity loan or a line of credit might be a good alternative. Home equity loans tend to have much lower interest rates compared to credit cards or personal loans. This can make it easier to repay the loan over time without taking on excessive debt. And finally, keeping your stability. While selling your home is a big decision, it can be a better alternative to going into debt or neglecting necessary medical care. Keeping your home and securing funds through equity allows you to stay in a familiar place while also getting the medical attention you need. It also avoids the financial uncertainty that comes with bankruptcy or unpaid medical bills, which can hurt your credit and financial future. Now, I want to acknowledge that selling your home or taking out a home equity loan is not a decision to be taken lightly. Your home is more than just a place to live. It's often your most significant asset, and for many, a symbol of security and stability. So, why would anyone consider parting with that stability to cover healthcare costs? In cases like Luigi Mangione's, when there are no other financial options available and healthcare costs are sky high, the decision might come down to basic survival. The financial stress and emotional toll of facing medical bills that you can't afford can make it feel like you have no other choice. The good news is, this isn't always a one-way street. You could sell your home to get the immediate funds you need, then potentially downsize or rent to regain financial flexibility. Similarly, taking out a loan gives you time to manage the debt more gradually rather than scrambling to pay off everything at once. But of course, there's a risk. You may be forced to find another home, possibly in a more expensive area or a less ideal situation. That can affect your long term stability. It's a tough balance between securing your health now and potentially sacrificing your financial security. Now, let's take a deeper look into something that may surprise you: the pricing disparity between insurance companies, especially when it comes to how much healthcare providers charge different insurers for the same services. It turns out that some insurance companies, like United Healthcare, are charged significantly more for services than others. This pricing difference can result in higher out of pocket costs for consumers and potentially lead to underinsurance. Here's how it works: negotiated rates. Healthcare providers, including hospitals and doctors' offices, negotiate payment rates with insurance companies. Some insurance companies, like United Healthcare, often have contracts that allow healthcare providers to charge higher rates for their services than they would charge to other insurance. This is due to the terms negotiated in the contracts and the size and power of the insurance company. Impact on consumers. If you're insured with a company like United Healthcare, you might find that your copays, deductibles, or out of pocket expenses are higher compared to people with other insurance providers, even for the same procedures or treatments. This is because your insurance company is paying more for the same service. And in turn, those higher costs are passed on to you in the form of higher premiums and out of pocket expenses. And three, the resulting burden. This disparity can make it feel like you're paying more for less, which is a major concern when you're already struggling to manage medical costs. For people like Luigi, whose frustrations with his healthcare provider led to tragic consequences, these high costs and insurance related complications create unnecessary financial strain. Now, while selling your home or taking out equity may be a viable option in extreme cases, the best approach is to prepare ahead of time for healthcare costs so that you don't actually have to make these hard decisions. Here's how you can take control and protect your finances from the burden of medical expenses. One, build an emergency fund. An emergency fund should be the cornerstone of your financial safety net. Ideally, you want to have 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses saved in a liquid, easily accessible account. While this may not cover all medical expenses, it can help bridge the gap in situations where your health insurance doesn't cover enough or your claims are delayed. In the case of high medical bills, an emergency fund can provide a crucial buffer. Without this fund, you may be forced to take extreme measures like taking out loans or selling assets. So, making consistent contributions to an emergency fund should be a priority in your financial planning. Number two, use a flexible spending account or an FSA. An FSA is a pre-tax account that can be used for medical expenses, saving you money on your healthcare costs. If your employer offers an FSA, it's a great tool to help cover things like copays, prescription costs, and medical supplies. The best part? The contributions to an FSA are tax-free, reducing your overall taxable income. However, the one downside to an FSA is that the funds typically must be used by the end of the year or it will be forfeited. So if you choose to contribute to an FSA, plan ahead and use it wisely. Number three, take advantage of a health savings account or an HSA. For those who have a high deductible health plan, an HSA is one of the best ways to save for future medical expenses. Contributions to an HSA are tax deductible, and the money grows tax free. You can actually use the funds for a wide variety of medical expenses, and the best part is that the money rolls over every year. Additionally, once you reach the age of 65, you can use your HSA funds for non medical expenses without having a penalty, though you will owe taxes on that money. The HSA offers a long-term savings option that can be used to cover current or future medical costs, helping you avoid major financial strain. While selling your home or borrowing against it might be a solution for some people, this situation is a reflection of a much larger problem. Healthcare costs in the US are outrageously high. In a system where insurance often fails to provide adequate coverage, individuals are left with few options when medical emergencies arise. The sad reality is that the financial burden of healthcare often leads to difficult decisions like the one Luigi Mangione faced. His story and others like it should serve as a reminder that we need major changes in how healthcare is handled. Insurance companies need to be more transparent about their coverage and changes to policies. We need stronger protections for consumers so that they don't end up stuck in a cycle of debt or forced to make extreme decisions just to survive. Healthcare should be about care, not financial ruin. People like Luigi Mangione should never feel pushed to sell their homes or take on crippling debt just to afford medical treatment. We need a system that supports people in their time of need, not one that exacerbates their financial struggles. So, should selling your home or taking out equity to cover healthcare costs be the last resort or a viable option? The truth is, it depends on your situation. If you have no other financial resources and you're facing medical bills that you just can't pay, using your home's equity or selling it may be one of the very few options to ensure you get the healthcare you need. However, it's a decision that comes with risks, and it should only be considered after exploring all other options, like negotiating with the healthcare providers, looking into government programs, or finding ways to reduce medical costs. In Luigi Mangione's case, the frustration of dealing with insurance denials and coverage changes pushed him to the extreme. But for others, this might be the only solution to avoid worse consequences. It's essential that we recognize the system's flaws while also understanding the tough choices many people have to make. Preparing for healthcare costs through savings, FSAs, and HSAs can help you avoid reaching this point. And ultimately, we need to push for a healthcare system that actually works for the people it's supposed to serve. If you found this video insightful, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep this conversation going and continue to advocate for change in how we deal with healthcare costs in this country. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.